All right, now let me share my screen real quick. We can get started. Okay, awesome. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Aryn Nolan, and I am a registered nurse. Let me go to the next page here. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Like I said, I'm a nurse. My background is in emergency nursing. I've been a nurse for about 10 years. And for a few different reasons, mostly of which I was finding in the emergency department that I felt like I wasn't helping people. I was helping people who were obviously hurt, like if they had a broken bone or if they had needed sutures or they were coding in cardiac arrest. Obviously, I was helping those people, but we had a very large proportion or statistical amount of people who were coming in for the same things over and over and over. High blood pressure, diabetes, just problems that I felt like we weren't really addressing and we weren't really helping them. And what we were providing was more so Band-Aid solutions. And still we would just see them again and again and again. And we became to knowing them on first name basis, which I felt like it wasn't really the way the system was designed to work. So I felt like something was broken. So through experiences in my own life, I was introduced to essential oils, and they changed my life and my family's life so profoundly that I felt like I would be doing people a disservice, both as a mother, but also as a healthcare professional, not educating people on these amazing tools. So this is a picture of my husband. He is active duty military, so we move all over pretty frequently, which is awesome because I can share essential oils to even more people. And I have two little sons, as you can see there. One is 1 year old. His name's Caden, and one is 3 years old, and his name is Ty. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in and tell you a little bit about what I believe before we get started. So I absolutely believe in modern medicine, and I believe it should be used when needed. The use of essential oils are one of the first steps that I believe we should use, not one of the last steps. And God designed our bodies to heal naturally when they're given the right tools, which is really amazing. And the big thing I'm going to be talking about throughout this class is, do we have those tools that we need for our body to function correctly and heal like it's meant to heal? So please do know, I'm not a medical doctor. This class is for educational purposes only, so I'm not diagnosing or treating anything through this class. I value modern medicine and its place in our world, so please always consult your healthcare provider if you're going to come off of medications or introduce anything into your healthcare regime. And I am a natural health educator. I teach others how to enable their bodies to heal itself. Okay, so let's jump right into what are essential oils. I think that's super important as we move forward talking about essential oils. So the plant-specific oils that are on the leaves, stem, bark, root, or flower, they house the plant's immune system. So this is a real picture that I'm showing you here. It is blown up under a microscope, and that's lavender. And you can see those sacs of oils. That is the plant's immune system, and it is housed on the outside of the essential oil. And we can extract those sacs of essential oils and put them into bottles and use them medicinally on and in our bodies the exact same ways that the plants do. So a few of the ways that plants use these essential oils are for antibacterial, antifungal, antipyretic, antiparasitic, regenerative, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, soothing, calming, energizing, antiviral, and healing. So plants use these for a variety of different reasons. So we too can put them on our bodies and use them those same ways. So why are people turning to essential oils? And why are we starting to hear this buzz about them? So there's a few reasons about that. And the main reason, like I kind of explained previously, is people are feeling out of control. They're feeling like they don't have the tools and the solutions that they need to try and take care of things on their own. There is a statistic that 80% of doctors' visits could potentially be prevented if people have the right solutions at home to take care of themselves. This is exercise, diet, natural alternatives, and some of those are appropriately used would be essential oils as well. So when you look at it from that perspective and giving us the tools that we need to allow our bodies to function correctly, we can use them for so many different reasons and preventing those doctor's visits that we potentially don't need. I haven't been to a drugstore in 3 years. I started using essential oils 3 years ago, and I have not gone because I can use essential oils for almost everything. I still go to the doctor, obviously, just for routine visits, but I haven't gone to the drugstore for other reasons for that, or for my children or for my husband. So why are people turning to essential oils? So it's really important to understand with essential oils their potency. So essential oils are 50 to 70 times more potent than their herbal counterparts. So when you think about what an herb is a dried up part of the plant. So it's, like I said with the essential oils, it's the flower, the root, the stem, the bark. It's that dried up part of the plant. But when you're drying it up, you're losing those essential oils and you're using what makes it most medicinal in many situations. So you have to use a lot more of the herbal counterpart to equivocate what we would be using with essential oils. Now, 1 drop of peppermint is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So that's another example of just how potent these essential oils are and why they work so well therapeutically. So I'm going to talk to you more about the 3 ways that we use essential oils, and we're going to talk more about potency and some precautions to take with the potency, specifically with your elderly as well as with your children and animals. We want to be super cautious with that potency, but also because they are so potent, the typical adult dose is only 1 to 2 drops of an essential oil. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more here. They're extremely effective. So I didn't realize this because we don't learn about this in nursing school or in medical school or in modern schools today that talk about most medical practices and science degrees. We don't really talk about the natural alternatives out there. We're taught about the pharmaceuticals and the interventions that we can take through hospital settings. But what I didn't realize until I started learning about essential oils and studying them myself is the vast amount of research that is published that is actually out there about essential oils now. Now, most of that does come out of Asia and Europe, and the reason for that is because they've been using essential oils medicinally as well as in the clinical setting for a really, really, really long time. So because of that, they've had a longer period of time that they've been able to do these studies, and America is just now jumping on board. The past 10 years, there's been a 400% increase in the amount of clinical trials as well as medical research that has been done about essential oils in the clinical setting. And there's about 4.4 medical research studies published every single day about the use of essential oils in the clinical setting as well. And so there, I was just telling you that there's over 1,200 published studies on peppermint alone. So please don't Google things. Google has a wealth of misinformation, and they can have some scary recommendations out there. So it's super important to partner with someone who's educated on essential oils and knows how to use them safely, and that you don't Google and find things on blogs or on different websites just because you don't know the efficacy and the safety behind those things that they're recommending on there. PubMed, if you like science and research, PubMed's a great database that publishes publicly medical research. And there's some other sources that I could give you too as well, that if you like to look things up on your own about essential oils and being used in different studies and clinical settings, I can give that to you. Now, they're extremely affordable. So like I talked about, 1 dose is typically appropriate for an adult. So with that being said, let me grab a bottle here. A typical 15 ml bottle of an essential oil has about 250 drops in it. Now, they also have 5 ml bottles, and those have about 85 drops inside of them. So when you think about it from that standpoint, 1 drop of lavender, so we're going to talk about lavender a little bit more, but 1 drop of lavender, which is typically what I use to help me go to sleep at night and have healthy sleep cycles and sleep really deep, is 8 cents. So when you think about it from that standpoint, the essential oils that you buy last a really, really, really long time. So something too that tends to be asked to me during classes is, well, how long do essential oils last? What if I have a bottle for like a year? Is it going to go bad? So an answer to that is, if you look on the bottom, and I'm speaking about doTERRA essential oils specifically, if you look on the bottom, there's actually an expiration date on them. Now, what that means is that the essential oil isn't going to harden you at that point. What it means is that it has been proven that at that point on, the medicinal compounds inside that essential oil can start to lessen. So you would just want to be mindful that they may not be as effective after that date. And most of them last about 2 to 3 years. That expiration date is about 2 to 3 years on them. I think citrus oils tend to degrade a little bit faster than the others. So those may be 2 years. And then once you start mixing them together, taking them out of their bottles and mixing them, they start to degrade a little bit faster too. So that's why we always recommend keep the top on, keep it in a cool, dark place, keep it away from sunlight just to protect those compounds inside of them. and they're super easy to use. I can tell you when I first started using essential oils, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Can I mix this? Can I not mix this? How do I use it? And I just want to be here to kind of eliminate that fear, that anxiety you may have about that, and to reinforce you can't, it's very hard for you to mess it up. They're very simple to use, but again, that's why it's so important to partner with someone so you feel comfortable using them, because we want you to use them correctly. So more on why are people turning to essential oils. So let's talk about them being natural compounds. So because they're natural compounds and we extract them from the plants and use them in our bodies recognize them as natural and not something as foreign. When we're talking about synthetics that we could potentially put inside of our bodies view those as foreign. And when they view them as foreign, we have protective mechanisms. Our cells actually have cell membranes to keep synthetic substances out. We have blood-brain barriers. We have different barriers and different mechanisms in our bodies to protect ourselves from synthetic compounds. So a lot of times that's why pharmaceuticals take time to build up in our system, and or it takes so much time once you do take them to start getting effect of what you're needing. Natural compounds, depending on how you take them, some studies have shown can reach every cell in your body within 26 to 30 seconds. So they work very fast and they can get into your system very fast. There's also scientific proof that they are able to cross the cell membranes and work from the inside of the cell out. So when we're talking about giving you those tools that you need for your body to heal correctly, work correctly, and fix itself from the inside out, this is a great tool for that. And there are actually studies that prove that they can cross the blood-brain barrier, which is phenomenal because a lot of synthetics cannot do that. Even most chemotherapy drugs can't even do that. So they have a very unique capability because they are natural and our body views them as natural. And also because they're natural, we have less side effects from them. So a lot of times when we take pharmaceuticals or we take medications and we have side effects from them, it's not necessarily the active ingredient. Sometimes it is, but not always the active ingredient the medicinal ingredient inside that prescription that we're having the reaction from. A lot of times it's the other things that they're having to put in it, the fillers, the preservatives, the coloring, the flavors, the enteric-coated, all the different types of things that they mix into that a lot of times we have those adverse reactions from. So sometimes when we're trying to take something like, let's use aspirin, for example, we take the aspirin, all we're wanting is that salicylate inside of it. That's the active chemical ingredient that we're wanting for that pain relief. But if you actually look at the inactive ingredients, depending on the brand that you have, there can be 16 additional ingredients added to that. So what we went from just wanting that one compound, we're now getting up to 16, 17 different compounds in there that we're then putting into our body. And this is what we call our toxic load. And this is how our body gets exposed to chemicals and things that it doesn't need to be exposed to when we have natural alternatives to do things in a safe way. So how do we use essential oils? There's 3 different ways that we use essential oils. One is aromatically, and I like to start talking about aromatic use specifically because there's 2 different ways that we use essential oils aromatically. And what I'm going to talk about first is aromatherapy. I thought that was the only way that you used essential oils, is that you just smell them and they smell good and they're supposed to make you happy, and really that's the extent of the use of essential oils. But they are extremely complex, and I'm going to go more in depth with you. So first, to talk about aromatherapy, when we smell an essential oil and the aroma that it provides, we breathe it in. And you can see here, you're breathing in that aroma. It goes into your nose, and right there is your olfactory bulb, which is your first cranial nerve. It attaches the aroma attaches to that, sends impulses directly into your brain, and attaches to your brain's limbic system. Now, your brain's limbic system is a grouping of structures and networks that house how we react to things, our emotions, how we recall events, how we remember facts, how we focus. It's very complex and very integrated into almost every aspect of our life. So this is how we can use, they've done studies on certain aromas such as woodsy aromas or spice aromas or floral aromas and citrus aromas, different aromas causing our limbic system and our brain to react in different ways. So mint oils, for example, have been clinically proven to help us focus better. So when people say my child has issues focusing or is hyperactive and I just need them to pay attention in class, I recommend peppermint. The citrus ones, for example, have been proven to help increase mood and help elevate mood. So that's one that people who are dealing with sadness, that's one that I recommend pretty frequently for that. So that's how aromatherapy works. You can do it by literally just opening the bottle of an essential oil, breathing in that aroma. You can use diffuser jewelry, such as your bracelets. There's specifically made bracelets, necklaces, different items like that that you can use. As well, for my son, he had to have surgery when he was just a few weeks old and was experiencing a lot of anxiety and discomfort associated with that. So I would put the essential oils, wild orange, just directly on his onesie so he could smell it directly from that standpoint. So you have the ability, so you can acquire systemic effects from your essential oil when inhaled using a high quality diffuser. Now, we're going to talk about diffusers, and what it says there is you can get up to 70% bioavailability, and that's just a big fancy word. That means 70% of that diffused essential oil can get into your blood system and reach every cell in your body, up to 70%. That's a very, very high number. That's actually more than if we use them topically. So what a diffuser is, it's not a humidifier. Please do not put essential oils in a humidifier, CPAP, BiPAP. It will mess up those mechanisms, and it's not the safest way for you to be inhaling the essential oils. We want you to use a diffuser, which is specifically made for the use of essential oils. It works very similar to humidifiers. You open it, fill it with water. As you can see, there's a disc-like mechanism. The lighting's kind of bad here. There's a disc-like mechanism, and that's specific to aerosolizing the essential oil. And you put the water in there, close it, turn it on, and it aerosolizes it exactly like an inhaler or a nebulizer. So you're then inhaling it, and it's getting into your system through your lungs and in through your mucosa in your nose as well. So when we do that, remember, like it says, we can acquire systemic effects, so it gets into our whole body that way. It's also a really great way just to affect our nasal passages in our lungs. So if you're coming down with congestion, or you're coughing, or you're having difficulty breathing, then this is a great way also to directly impact your respiratory system and your breathing too. Remember, when you diffuse essential oils and it diffuses into the air, it's also cleansing the air and cleansing the surfaces that it falls onto as well. So during flu season, or anytime we're trying to cleanse our house, or any type of we've come in contact with something, or someone's been sick and in our home, diffusing is a great way to help with that too. So that's just a brief overview of aromatic use. Like it says here, you could breathe in or use diffuser to clean the air, support open airways, and affect your mood too. So the second way I want to talk to you is topical use. Now, this is direct versus systemic topical use. And what I mean by that is there's, again, two different ways we can use essential oils topically. One is we can put an essential oil directly on an area of our skin that we need it. So let's say my son just got a bug bite. It's itching really bad. It's red. It's swollen. I would want to put that essential oil, that lavender essential oil, directly on that area to help decrease inflammation, help decrease the redness, and then help stop the itching as well. So that's what I mean by direct application. Now, again, remember, the things we put on our skin reach our blood system within 26 seconds. So it's very important to remember, even the makeup, anything we put on our skin absorbs through our skin and gets into our blood system. So again, talking about that toxic load and understanding the things, the products that we're putting into our body through our skin, because our skin is a living, breathing organism, organ on our body, that we need to be really mindful of that too. So we can put essential oils on our skin. It penetrates down into our dermis, which is the layer of skin that has blood supply, and it gets into our blood system. So we can, again, get those systemic effects from the essential oils just by applying them topically. So applying them topically, you can apply them to your hands, feet, ears, chest, over your heart, the back of your neck, or on the specific trouble areas that you need them. The pores on the feet are the largest and the most open. That's why we have stinky, sweaty feet all the time. So that's a great place to put essential oils so that they can be absorbed into your system that way. When applied to the feet, oils enter the bloodstream and are able to affect the whole body within 30 seconds. Some studies have said 26 seconds. Other studies have said 30 seconds. And that's a picture of me putting a roller bottle, some essential oil on my son's feet there. So we're going to talk about dilution criteria specific to different age groups. And you'll see there that I diluted that in that whole roller bottle. It's a 10 ml roller bottle, which is this size right here. I only put 1 drop of essential oil in that entire roller bottle, and the rest is filled with the carrier oil, which I'll explain in a second. So again, remember, these essential oils go a really long way, and they're extremely effective even at very diluted concentrations. You can also mix them. This is a picture of one that I mixed for my child. It has lemon, melaleuca, which is tea tree oil, and frankincense. This is one that when they were infants, like firstborn, I would use as immune support for them. So I would apply it to their necks, which is where our lymph system is. Because remember, when we come into contact with things that are going to be harmful to us or cause illness, they enter our body through either our eyes, our nose, or our mouth, which then gets filtered through our chain or our lymph supply here in our neck. So I would just apply it around the ears and then down the neck here. And again, I would only use 1 drop of the essential oil of each one of those oils and then fill the rest with the carrier oil. So there has not been any studies to support that if you mix any essential oils together that they will be harmful or counteract each other. So feel comfortable and safe mixing your essential oils too for whatever you're trying to use it for. And you can also mix them and use them topically in different type of bottles like that. I always try to encourage people to use glass, because anytime we put an essential oil in plastic, the essential oil degrades the plastic. So we would then be putting degraded plastic on our body. Same thing goes if we're ever going to drink essential oils. We want to make sure that we're not putting them in plastic, which I'll go over that a little bit more in the next couple slides. But I encourage people to use glass that's darker in color. So either dark brown or dark blue, because again, we want to protect it from the sunlight, which can break down those medicinal compounds too. And just remember to keep the lids on them. Now, the reason you want to keep lids on them at all times is because essential oils are what we call volatile, which is just a scientific word that means that they can disperse into the air easily. So that's why when we open an essential oil bottle, we can smell them so easily. But what that also means is that if I put an essential oil directly on my skin, it will actually disperse or evaporate off of my skin. So it's really important to make sure that we're keeping the lids on, but that we're also using a carrier oil. So I'm going to talk about that real quick. So a carrier oil is the use of any type of oil that is plant-based. This can be fractionated coconut oil, jojoba oil, sweet almond oil, grapeseed oil, olive oil. Any type of oil that is fatty and lipid-based is going to weigh that essential oil down and keep it on your skin. So we do that, one, because we want that carrier oil to carry the essential oil into your skin to reach your dermis and your blood supply so it doesn't evaporate off before it's able to do that. But also because, remember, we talked about the potency of essential oils. They're so potent that we want to make sure that we dilute them appropriately, specifically for babies and children. But there are some hot oils I'm going to go over with you too that we definitely want to make sure that we dilute even for adults as well. So most people use, right here's a picture of fractionated coconut oil. I have a little pump on mine. I have the same bottle right here. So fractionated coconut oil is just like the coconut oil that you cook with in your kitchen, except for an ion has been removed, which allows it to stay liquid at colder temperatures. So you know your coconut oil when you go to the store, it's like solidified and white and chunky. So obviously, if you're mixing essential oils and you're wanting them to mix and you to be able to pump them and spray them, you want them to be liquid. So that's why that's used. The reason it's the most popular, one, is because it does not have an aroma that necessarily interacts with the fragrance or the aroma of the essential oil, but also because it's the least greasy. So because it's the least greasy, it penetrates faster into our skin and doesn't leave that super greasy residue on our skin. Now, sometimes I do want that super greasy residue. So if I'm dealing with a dry, itchy patch of skin on my body, or if my son has a diaper rash, I'm wanting that barrier to it, then I'm going to use a thicker oil, and then I would add my melaleuca and my frankincense and my lavender to that oil and then use that on their diaper rash specifically. So let's talk about dilution criteria. The typical dilution rate for an adult is 1 to 2 drops of an essential oil in a teaspoon of a carrier oil. In children, it's 1 to 2 drops per 2 teaspoons of a carrier oil. And for babies, it's 1 drop per tablespoon of a carrier oil. Now, you can also mix your own roller bottles. If that's something you're interested in, I have other graphics that I can give to you and show you how to specifically do that based off of age. For adults, we can add 10 to 20 drops of an essential oil into a 10 ml roller bottle. For babies, we would do 1 drop. For children, we would do 3 to 5. So it depends based off of multiple factors there to be aware of. So let's talk about internal use of essential oils. So something I want to be really mindful and tell you is that I only advocate for the use of doTERRA essential oils internally. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about purity standards and why that is in just a second. But I just want to make sure that I am not encouraging you to go to the health food store or go to your local spa and use those essential oils internally, because that's not safe to do. One is you want to make sure right here where it says there's a supplements fact label on your essential oil. That's how you know an essential oil is safe and clinically proven to be taken internally. So I don't know if y'all can see this, but this right here is a bottle of oregano, and you can see that little square right there, that square facts label. That's what you're looking for if an oil is safe to be taken internally. Now, you can use essential oils internally directly in your mouth. For example, peppermint is one that I tend to just put directly in my mouth very frequently, and on the go type of a thing. doTERRA makes little beadlets. So these are little peppermint beadlets. They also have On Guard beadlets, which are 1/4 of a drop. So that way you can use less than an entire drop if you're wanting to titrate them for that reason. doTERRA also makes soft gels. So the essential oils that are most frequently used internally, like On Guard, which I'll talk about a little bit more in just a second, Digestin for digestive comforts, a lot of the essential oils, Trites for your allergies, those are ones that they go ahead and put in soft gels for you. Now, you can also use veggie capsules, and this is a veggie capsule. This is what it looks like. I don't know if you can really see this. So I just opened it up. You would put your essential oil, 1 to 2 drops in there. You close it. You can hear it snap. I don't know if y'all heard that. And then you can swallow it without tasting it. I don't like the taste of most of the essential oils. For example, peppermint's really the only one, or the citrus ones are really the only ones that I enjoy. But other than that, I always put them in the veggie capsule and swallow them. You can put them in a shot glass. That's something my husband tends to do a lot. Or you can put them in your water for flavoring, for citrus ones. So an example of that is just definitely make sure that you're putting it in glass and stainless steel and not in any type of plastic cup where you could be taking that, degrading that plastic and taking it internally that way. Okay. Let's talk about some safety tips. This is my older son when he was a little baby. He loved playing with the different essential oils. You never want to put essential oils directly in your ears, up your nose, or in your eyes. So that's something to be mindful of. And not all essential oils can be taken internally. So again, look for that supplements fact label. If the doTERRA bottle does not have that on it, what that means is that clinically it doesn't absorb well in your GI tract. So we just want you to avoid doing that. Some oils are considered hot oils. Oils that are hot are cassia, clove, cinnamon, thyme, oregano, and some of the blends have them in it. Some of the aromatherapy blends have it in it. The blend that you will use most frequently is going to be On Guard. That one has several hot oils in it. So these are ones you always want to make sure you dilute with a carrier oil, because for example, oregano, if you apply that directly to your skin, that's one that I recommend people do to burn off warts. So it can cause irritation. We just want to be mindful of that. For skin sensitivity or irritation, all I want you to do is just add more of the carrier oil. So never, let's say you put an essential oil on and it starts tingling, or it's like peppermint, for example, it's sort of tingling. You're like, oh, this is a little too intense. I don't like this. Do not get a water washcloth and wipe it off, because you're actually going to penetrate the oil down into your skin more, because as we know, oils and water don't mix. What I want you to do is get more of a carrier oil and dilute it further with the carrier oil and then wipe it off that way. Now, if you ever put an oil on your skin and it becomes red or irritated or itchy, that does not necessarily mean that you are allergic to that essential oil. What that means is that you have a skin sensitivity or a sensitivity to that oil, which happens, and that's okay. So what I would recommend is, again, you wipe it off with the carrier oil, give your skin some time to heal and adjust. And then next time you try that essential oil, just make sure you dilute it further next time. Some people have to use kid dilution ratios. Other people like me, I'm sensitive on my face, so I have to dilute more on my face, but on my skin, I'm typically okay. Don't have to dilute further on the other areas of my skin. And treat them the same as medications. You want to keep them out of the reach of children. They do have kid safety locks on here, on some of them that you can buy on doTERRA also, if that's something that you're concerned about. And like I said, dilute with fat or oil if you need to. So if a child ever ingests an essential oil, like a whole bottle of an essential oil, I've had parents call me about this before. I always tell them to call poison control, just because that's what we recommend you do, so that they can track. They have to keep records and keep track of these things. So I always recommend you call poison control. That's my ear nurse coming at me. But what they are going to recommend that you do is that you take whole milk and you drink whole milk, or eat something fatty, and that's going to dilute that oil inside of them to make sure that it doesn't absorb or penetrate even faster inside of their system. And we talked about the safety caps. And not all oil is safe for every person too. So if you have medical conditions such as you have epilepsy with severe seizures, that's someone that I would want to talk to and make sure that we talk about which oils are safe for you to come in contact with and which ones aren't. Because remember, these compounds and these essential oils, some of them have the same medicinal compounds that are found in prescription and in medications too. So there can, if you have extreme health considerations like that, I would definitely want to make sure that we consult together and talk about that. Most essential oils are okay and totally safe. I'm overly cautious about that kind of thing. I want to make sure that you always have a coach guiding you if you have complex medical conditions. Okay, why I use doTERRA. So did you know that there is no regulatory body for essential oils, or for herbs for that matter, but for specifically, we're going to talk about essential oils here. So the FDA does not regulate essential oils. And this is very scary. And we understand that in doTERRA, that is concerning for people, that you can go to the store and get a bottle of an essential oil and have absolutely no idea truly what's in that bottle. They can label it, they can false label it as saying 100% pure, therapeutic grade, purity tested. They can say whatever they want. And there is no one enforcing that what they are advertising is actually inside of that bottle. So that's why I say do not use essential oils unless you can do that, unless you can verify, like doTERRA, what is actually inside of that bottle. And here's some things that I'm going to explain to you why I trust doTERRA so much. So first, doTERRA has their own certification process. And this is the standard that they want to meet with that they do meet with every single one of their bottles. And it is unmatched by any other company out there right now. doTERRA is the #1 essential oil company in the world. They have been around for 11 years, and they have a 10-year goal to be fully integrated into the healthcare system. They have already started doing that. In the next 3 years, they are building 30 different clinics across the U.S. where they are going to house medical doctors, DOs, and other healthcare professionals, where they are going to prescribe both pharmaceuticals and essential oils together and blend the modalities together for a more comprehensive and holistic approach to healthcare for patients. So in doing that, they understand we have to provide the purest essential oils out there. Now, how do we do that clinically, and how do we prove that to people so that they're comfortable using our essential oils in hospital settings? So this is what they've done. They have created their CPTG, or Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade logo. And what that means is this, as you can see here, it is a standardization of different tests that they go through with their essential oils. And they're actually tested 3 different times. They don't just test it once and go off of what that reading says. They test it 3 different times. They test an initial testing at the time the plant has been extracted. They test it again at the time the plant is either steam distilled or cold pressed, and then a 3rd time when it's actually going to be bottled. Now, doTERRA thinks it's extremely important, and this is the science coming out in them, and they do have a medical advisory board and a veterinarian advisory board where they have veterinarians as well as different medical doctors and all different. They have ER doctors, OBs, general practitioners, orthopedic surgeons. They have dermatologists. And they all sit on the board and review these things together because they understand they're integrating into the healthcare system. So what they have done is they say, you know what, we're going to do 43 different purity tests here at doTERRA, but we don't want people to believe us and to believe what we report. We want a 3rd independent lab to test these, and we want people to believe what they're saying. So they then have partnered with the Aromatic Plant Research Center, who then independently tests all of their essential oils, and they do an additional 11 different tests on each bottle or each essential oil. So that's a total of 54 different purity tests that are done on every single bottle. So what they have done is they then put a barcode on the bottom of every single one of their essential oils that you go to their website. It's called sourcetoyou.com. You click this button right here and you put that barcode in, and they release their purity reports to you. So you can independently, verified by yourself, have access to those purity reports and know what's going in your body, what's going on your skin, and what you're putting on your family too. So the Aromatic Plant Research Center has actually tested essential oils, and they have found that 80% of the essential oils they test are adulterated. So that's very concerning to know that this is happening on such a large scale all across America here. So something that's very unique about doTERRA as well is that they source indigenously. So what that means, and that's part of the therapeutic grade of their CPTG criteria, the therapeutic grade is that they get their oils where they thrive in the wild. So there's no farm growing here in the side of a desert field in Utah. They go where the climates are appropriate, where the rain is appropriate, the elevation, the temperatures, everything, the humidity, everything has to be perfect for that plant to thrive. And that's where they want to get those plants from, that they're going to get their essential oils from. So as you see here, it says that there are over 100 different essential oils sourced from over 40 different countries all over the world. That's where they get their oils. So here, it's just a fun picture. I like to show this one that shows you just how diverse and how widespread doTERRA gets their oils and from everywhere that they get their oils from. Now, what's important to understand is, as you can see in this picture, up to 3/4 of the country that they get their essential oils from are third world countries or developing countries. So doTERRA thinks it's extremely important to make sure that they're giving these people fair wages and protecting their safety in doing that. So what they do is they have a process that's called co-impact sourcing. And co-impact sourcing is where they go into these communities and they actually also build them schools. They have different clinics, build hospitals, build orphanages, give them running water. They have a lot of programs for girls and women specifically to help empower them, because sometimes they are the most oppressed people in these developing nations, which they feel is very important to address as well. So I think that's really cool that doTERRA takes the proceeds and the money that they make from their essential oils and then reinvest it into the world to make the world a better place. So since doTERRA was founded, they have given back over $100 million into these programs, their Healing Hands Foundation and their co-impact sourcing. So I think that's amazing. So let's talk about some essential oils specifically here. And let's talk about the top ones that most people use on a pretty regular basis, okay? So first is going to be peppermint. So peppermint is a great essential oil that I tend to pass around in my classes because people can smell it and immediately get that bronchodilation or get that opening of the airway. It's also very energizing. So when I used to work night shifts and would be super tired at night, I didn't want to drink coffee because then I would totally be awake all night or the whole next day. I would take some peppermint and that would help me stay energized and awake. It's very cooling. So whenever we have temperature elevations, if you're a female going through temperature elevations due to hormones, or if it's just hot outside, you've been working out, or if you're becoming sick and you're having temperature elevations, peppermint is a great one to dilute and apply to your skin. They have done studies in ICU settings where they have applied this to patient's skin and been able to trend the drop in the patient's temperatures that are much safer and steadier than other uses or other synthetic uses. So that's something that's pretty cool as well. It's actually great for itching. So if you ever have an area that's itching or a bug bite, that's another really good one to put on those areas to help with that too. And it's really great for oral health. So we obviously know it's in our toothpaste. It's synthetic in our toothpaste. It's not actually real essential oil, so you're not getting the antimicrobial effects that peppermint delivers. But that's one that I suggest people put into their mouth for oral hygiene, as well as if you have any throat discomfort or your throat starts to feel itchy. This is one that I encourage people to use that with as well. If you're nursing or breastfeeding, please do not take peppermint oil internally because it can decrease your milk supply. So we want to be cautious with that. Lavender. Lavender, I feel like, is the one essential oil that if you say that, everyone has heard of that essential oil before. So lavender is really great for calming and sedating. So this is why when we go to the spas, we smell lavender most typically, and that's because most clinical research supports its use for the sedation or the relaxation of us. Now, it actually relaxes our nervous system. So we can use this by aromatherapy, applying it topically. We can even take it internally. So when people have severely heightened emotions that become debilitating throughout their day, let's say they're specifically fearful of something, or they just have heightened emotions throughout the day that they're needing help with, lavender is one that I encourage you to take 1 to 2 drops in a veggie capsule and take that one internally. It's great for sleep too. So if you struggle with sleep at night, diffuse it in your diffuser, rub it on the bottom of your feet, or if you just have heightened emotions throughout the day, just put some in your hand, take a few deep breaths. It's also a very strong anti-inflammatory oil and very good at soothing your skin as well as your emotions. So that's one that I also like to encourage people that if they have red, itchy, scaly skin or any type of irritations on their skin, make sure you're applying lavender to that because it works really, really, really well. Okay, frankincense. So frankincense, as you can see here, actually comes from the resin of the boswellia tree. And they get this from Somaliland. So this is one essential oil that is one of the most adulterated oils when you get them or when they have been tested, because it's very hard to extract correctly. This is almost like a blood diamond type situation. So doTERRA sources it from Somaliland, where they can protect the anonymity of the people who supply it to them for their safety, and then also protect their fair wages that way as well. So that's really important in understanding frankincense when you're using it from a therapeutic standpoint. We like to use it for healing and regeneration. So when people have just had surgery or if they're postpartum, this is one that's really great for that tissue healing and regeneration. Another really, really good one that if you have systemic inflammation or inflammatory issues, this is one I suggest people take internally. I think every human on the face of this earth should be taking frankincense internally, 1 drop every day. It's wonderful for so many different things. And they call it the king of all oil because if you actually look up, I have a few different medical textbooks, and if you look up research for different things, almost every single one of them suggests frankincense for different things. So this is one that I always just say, and add some frankincense. So moms will ask me like, well, what do I use for this? I'm like, this, and add some frankincense. So it's just a really great one. Antimicrobial as well. And it does have some sedative effects to it as well. So that's one that if you're having those heightened emotions, you can add that to your lavender and take that internally as well too. I love adding this to my kids' diaper rash cream that I make. Okay, to go back here. So doTERRA's resin is actually, frankincense is actually extracted from 3 different types of boswellia trees. And what's super important about that is when they do that, they're able to blend more medicinal compounds than if they just extracted it from one type of boswellia tree. So it's actually a blend of 3 different boswellias together to get that frankincense. Okay, so let's talk about some blends. I talked very briefly about the physicians panel. So they have a physicians panel that full-time, they're actually full-time employed by doTERRA. And what they do is they sit on these panels and review research and make these blends for us. So it takes the guesswork out of it for us. One that I love is DigestZen. DigestZen is a blend of oils that I use, or that we use, for any type of digestive issue. So if things are going fast, things are going slow, you're a little bit bloated, you're having some type of cramping or discomfort, so burning, indigestion, excuse me, I have a cough. DigestZen is kind of your jack of all trades for that. So this is one that I highly recommend that you can take internally. You can apply it. So like for my kids, they're very young. So what I do is I dilute it and just rub it directly on their belly anytime they're having issues. Versus for us as adults, I tend to let me get my phone real quick. Hold on 1 second. Trying to grab my phone. Oh, here it is. I don't know if y'all can hear this. My son's running around upstairs. It's really loud. Okay. So the blend, it can be taken internally by adults. I mean, you could diffuse it if you want to, but the best results you would get from it would be using it topically or to use it internally from that standpoint as well. And it has ginger, peppermint, tarragon, fennel, caraway, and coriander. Now, On Guard is another wonderful blend, and doTERRA blends this essential oil into many of their products. So they have cleaners, they have soft gels, they have soaps, they have throat lozenges, they have toothpaste, and we use the entire On Guard line because I have 2 toddlers. My husband is military and just comes in contact with grossness at work, and it's just something that we like to protect ourselves from all the time. So with that being said, On Guard specifically, let me grab this. It smells like Christmas because it has cinnamon and some of those essential oils in it. So inside of it, it has, wild orange, clove, cinnamon, eucalyptus, and rosemary. And this is used, one, for immune support. So it helps boost our immune system and actually increases white blood cell mediation. So our immune system functions and talks to each other better than if we don't take it. But also it's great at protecting us. So it actually wards things off in the sense that it can actually cleanse the air, cleanse the surfaces. They actually now have an On Guard hand spray, and that's what I use to clean my hands anytime I come in contact with people who are sick or out in public. So this is one that we use almost on a daily basis in my house, probably do use on a daily basis in my house. And one that I love the smell of it too. It's just wonderful to smell. So this is one that I always have to talk about. So this is Balance. And Balance is called their grounding blend, and it basically smells like a Christmas tree. So it has a very masculine, woodsy, earthy smell to it, and I love it. This is one when people are experiencing extremely heightened emotions and need emotional support to help bring them down. This is what I recommend. So you cannot take this one internally, and it's already pre-mixed with fractionated coconut oil. And the reason they do that is they know when people need it, they need it emergently, like they need it right now. So this is one that I actually have a roller top on it because I use it that frequently, and that way I can just apply it directly to my neck. I put it to my wrists, and sometimes I just breathe it directly off my wrists, or I put it in my hands and then just take a few deep breaths on my hands that way, and that's just a quick diffuser whenever I need it. So what this is this allows your body to calm down and emotionally relax whenever you need it. Men tend to gravitate towards this one really well, again, because the aroma is more masculine. And it's really hard to get your husband or a man on board with huffing lavender or walking around smelling like lavender. So this is kind of the men's equivalent to that. But I love to use this before bed. I love keeping it on me. When my husband was deployed this last time and I was at home with a toddler, thought I was going to lose my mind. This is what really helped ground me and keep me centered when I was feeling overwhelmed with those emotions. This is a really cool test that they did where they took blood work from a patient, put it under a microscope, and they had a disorder where their blood would actually kind of clumped together where it wasn't dispersing and floating like it should be to oxygenate correctly. So they used some Balance, and then they took another blood sample. As you can see here, this is actually video clips. After 30 seconds of just one drop of Balance, they retook it, and you can see that the cells, those are red blood cells. The red blood cells are actually floating like they're supposed to be and oxygenating well. So it actually restores balance to the entire body from that standpoint. So let's talk about a few other oils that I really enjoy and love and use pretty frequently. Breathe is another good blend. So Breathe is a blend of oils that helps your respiratory system. That's why it's called Breathe. So it actually helps dilate the airways, helps your nose open up if you're congested, helps with breathing if you have difficulty breathing or any type of coughing that comes along with that. Seasonally, if you have breathing issues, whenever the pollen starts coming around, this is a great one to diffuse. You can diffuse it in a diffuser. Do not take this one internally. This is another one that you can open up, put in your hands. I like to just dilute it and put it directly on my chest so I can get that direct application that way. But that's a really good one to have on hand whenever needed. Another really great oil blend is called Deep Blue. And Deep Blue is a blend of oils for discomfort or for pain. So this is one that people take or use topically anytime they have joint discomfort. I use it a lot on my lower back. Peppermint's actually a good one to use on your temples and forehead and the back of your neck if you're having any type of head discomfort. But Deep Blue is another really great one that you can use for that as well.
And they also make it in the rub too.
Yes,
And this is
yes.
what people were like, my mom and I use it
Mhm.
every single day. I just
Yeah.
want to add that in too.
Yes, they do make it in the rub. That way you don't have to like dilute it and mix it and things like that. The oil is good though if you're wanting to mix it with other oils. So that way it just gives you that ability to mix it with other oils if you're needing to do that, like to mix it with frankincense or lavender or anything like that. But otherwise the rub is wonderful. And you can even mix the oils in with your rub if you need to in your hand too. So that's an option as well. So the only other oil I really definitely want to go over with you is called Melaleuca or tea tree oil. This is one that I use very frequently. It's a very clean smelling oil, very medicinal, almost smells like a cleaner. And that's essentially because it's very antibacterial and antimicrobial, specifically very strong in its antifungal and its ability to kill yeast. So this is what I clean my showers with, I clean surfaces with, but it's also very good for cleaning your skin. So anytime I'm starting to have my cyclical outbreaks on my face, I just add 1 drop of Melaleuca or tea tree oil and apply it directly onto my facial moisturizer, mix it in with that. But you can also put it on areas of your skin that you're worried about them staying clean. Like again, I explained, I put that on my kids' diaper rashes anytime that starts to come around, just to help that tissue heal and to keep it clean as well. So those are the top oils I definitely wanted to make sure that I covered with you. And those are the oils that are in the ballots there that I forgot. It does have frankincense and Roman chamomile, hoe wood, spruce. So it's a wonderful blend. Okay, but to move on and be respectful of your time. So if you are ready, if you would like, I'm not sure if I'm breaking up. It just told me my internet was unstable, so hopefully I'm not breaking up here. But if you are ready or would like a one-on-one consultation where we can sit down, discuss your concerns, discuss what you're struggling with, see what areas you feel like you could be more well in, we want to do that with you so that we can see where you are and how we can help you in your journey. You would have 24 available access to us. So in this situation, either Jen and or myself, we work as a team. You would have access to us directly to help answer your questions, guide you. We never leave you. You're kind of stuck with us. So we are always with you along this journey. And then you have endless continuing education opportunities. This is what's really cool and unique about doTERRA too. They have YouTube channels, they have podcasts, they send you magazines to help update you on the latest research and cool ways to use your oils. They have emails that have different links to different, they travel all the time to local cities near you and teach free classes for you to attend. They're amazing. They're very, very dedicated to making sure you're supported with your oils. And then you also have access to our private support group. So we have a private support group that's on Facebook that we have endless educational videos that we do weekly. We post a bunch of graphics for you to have access to. It's a safe place for you to ask questions and get multiple different people's answers and suggestions as to what you can do with different things. We also have a private website that we give you the password to that has tons of modules on it, classes and things like that we think are super important to be successful with your essential oils. So becoming a wholesale customer, what this means is it's exactly like a Costco membership. So there's no monthly ordering that's required. You pay a one-time monthly fee, it's once a year, and the first year it's $35. The second year, if you choose to renew, it's $25, and you get a free bottle of peppermint with that re-enrollment membership. And you get all of your products 25 to 55% off, everything. And this is all year long. You have your own account, so you don't have to order through us. You just log on, place your orders, get your discounted products, and it gets shipped directly to your house. You have access to special member-only promotions. So some of the products, and then they have monthly different promotions that they do specifically for the members. And then you also have the option of earning free rebate points. So when you order through your own account, you get order points rebated to you that come in a bank, and you get to cash those in for free oils, and you get your shipping rebated to you too. And like I said, there's no monthly ordering required. And then you do get access to the free oils the month. doTERRA also rewards you with free oils as well. So the most commonly suggested way for you to get started with essential oils is with a kit. And the reason we suggest this is because, one, it takes the guesswork out of what you need to get started with. They give you the fundamental oils, the ones I went over with you today, plus a few extra ones. They give you those. but your membership is free. So your membership is actually included in that kit price. So that's extremely important to understand too. So the most popular kits, is the Home Essentials Kit. And that one has the top 10 essential oils in the 15 ml size. So you get the big bottle size, the 250 drops. Then they have the exact same kit. They have this Home Essentials Kit. Where did my mouse go? Right here, it's called the Family Essentials Kit. It's the exact same oils, except for it's in the 5 ml size. So you get 85 drops of each oil. And then they recently, a couple years ago, came out with a new kit that's called the Aroma Touch Diffuse. And I love this kit because this kit has your balance and your wild orange, which is really great for calming, really great for children. And it comes with a diffuser and it comes with your fractionated coconut oil. The Home Essentials Kit also comes with a diffuser. The Family Essentials does not come with a diffuser. So those are the 3 most popular kits that people tend to start with. Now, let's say hypothetically, I'm going to go to, let's say hypothetically, you're like, I know very specifically what I want. I want this oil, and this oil. I don't think I want to get started with a kit. That's okay. That's an option too. You would pay the $35 membership fee and then add those specific oils that you want to your order. And we would help you with all that. Reach out to us. We'll help you get this started. We'll give you the link, walk you through exactly how to do all of this so we can make sure you get the specific oils that you're wanting to get started. So I do want to make sure I do run by you that doTERRA is specifically doing something this month only, that if you enroll this month with a 100 PV order, so it would be 100 PV or a kit, and then you place another order next month through the LRP system at 100 PV, another order next month, they give you the Lifelong Vitality Pack for free. This is $106 worth of a value for free. And it is their top selling product. And it is the only product that they have that has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's your omegas, your multivitamin, and then the alpha CRS, which is a compound that has polyphenols inside of it that helps with anti-inflammatory and helps your body cell functions better. So this is an awesome promo. I just want to make sure everyone's aware of. So that would be a 100 PV order this month and a 100 PV order next month, and they give you this for free. And if it doesn't work, send it back. So that's a really cool promo that they're doing. And that's only for you guys. So I'm going to stop sharing just for, I'm going to stop recording just for this. And then see if there's any questions real quick. Let me.
Oh, I lost your phone number on the screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me.
Oh, I was just
do you have Jen's phone number?
No, no, I don't.
Okay.
I'll take this yet. Hi, Jen. This is Debbie from Sting Class.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
right,
I'll post it in the Facebook group.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can go back. Let me share.
I would
It's
love
right there.
to order Aroma Touch Kit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one I got for myself, and I really liked it a lot.
Yes. So that's what I'd like to order. So I don't know how to order it from here. I'm not savvy on this. I tried to get on the other night, and I tried and couldn't. And
It can be very confusing. So that's definitely why I want us to be able to walk you through it, make sure you don't have any questions about it. We'll send you exact directions on how to do everything. And then I tell people this, then you're kind of stuck with us, but then we'll definitely want to meet with you within 2 weeks that you get your oils. So you'll get your oils and we want to meet with you again just to make sure you feel comfortable with your oils. You don't have any questions. You have them in your hand. We can go over each one of them with you, and that way you feel comfortable using them.
Okay, good.
Okay. So let me stop sharing again. Let me figure out what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.